Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the program Business Time. It is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country, and my name is William Kumwembe. In the program today, we take a deep look into the 2025-2026 budget as commentators continuing in on the budget statement delivered by Finance Minister Simplex Chithyola Banda last Friday. And also in the program, we look at farmers' preparedness for this year's tobacco selling season as they start plucking the leaf. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome. This is Business Time, and in our main story in the program today, Finance Minister Simplex Chithyola Banda on Friday presented an 8.5 trillion kwacha 2025-2026 national budget to Parliament. It has seen statutory obligations such as interest prepayments, salaries and wages, and pensions and gratuities eating up a whooping 3.87 trillion kwacha, or 48% of the total financial plan. Of the total budget, recurrent expenses are estimated at 6.4 trillion kwacha, while development expenditure are estimated at 2.01 trillion kwacha, of which 1.44 trillion kwacha is for foreign financing projects and 578.60 billion kwacha is for domestic financed project. The budget has a shortfall of 2.47 trillion kwacha, and Chithyola Banda told lawmakers inside Parliament in Longwe that they intend to finance the budget deficit through a 2.32 trillion domestic borrowing and a 145.7 billion kwacha foreign borrowing. In this report, Taonga Sabola discusses what the budget means to the 20 million Malawians who are already subjected to pressure due to the ever-rocketing commodity prices.
Out of the total 8.05 trillion kwacha, recurrent expenditures are estimated at 6.04 trillion kwacha, while development expenditures are estimated at 2.01 trillion kwacha. Of the 2.1 trillion kwacha for the development expenditure, 1.44 trillion kwacha is foreign financed projects, while 578 billion kwacha is for domestic financed projects. The budget has a shortfall of 2.47 trillion kwacha, and Chithyola Banda said he intends to finance the budget deficit through a 2.32 trillion kwacha domestic borrowing and a 145.78 billion kwacha foreign borrowing. But how have stakeholders seen the budget? Dr. Esme Kanyumbu is Executive Director for the Economics Association of Malawi.
The budget generally it looks promising, and what matters most is the implementation of the budget. But as the Economics Association of Malawi, we also sit down and do a thorough analysis of the budget, looking at item by item. Generally, we'll be looking at the alignment of the budget with the Malawi 2063, looking at the pillars in the Malawi 2063 and the enablers. So we may call you again to disseminate our report to you to see how we have thoroughly analyzed the budget.
Farmers Union of Malawi President Manes Nkata said she is impressed with the amount of resources committed towards the development of agriculture in the country.
It's pleasing. As farmers, we are so happy to see that they have allocated the 690 plus billion for the agriculture facilities. For instance, they've put 99.5 billion for irrigation farming. Most specific, 70 billion to Shire Valley Transformation Program. This country, I think it's very important to emphasize on irrigation farming. The programs like Shire Valley Transformation has been there, so it's part of the game changer for agriculture. So for us, we are so happy to see 38.8 billion allocated to mega farms, but also 53 billion for ADMAC. It will reduce the burden for the farmers in terms of markets.
National Advocacy Platform Chairperson Benedicto Kondowe said implementation of the budget will be crucial for its success.
The projected expenditure has increased to 8 trillion, but I think one notable observation in the budget is the increased debt, which is exceeding 2 trillion. But also the loan repayment is also is around 2.1. So I think this shows that this will be a very tough budget to implement within the economic environment that we all know. However, we note that the government has taken some steps to deal with the economic concerns that Malawians have in terms of removal of VAT on bread, for example, which is good. They've also removed duty on irrigation pump and engine equipment, which is good. They've also removed duty on mobile phones, which is good. But if you analyze the budget in its full breadth, it has a number of gaps. I know that government has allocated 60 billion towards procurement of maize and 99 billion for irrigation, which is good because we have been relying on rain-fed agriculture productivity, and that shift, I think, is significant. But that said, if you look at the infrastructure development, there is around 142 plus billion, but you look at the number of roads that government is intending to construct or upgrade, they do not match with the allocated funds. And I also note that the government is now introducing what they call Youth Innovation Fund. They've put around 2 billion. That is a good starting point because youth needs to be empowered. They're the engine room for this nation, and the investment in youth is an investment into the future. That is commendable. But all in all, I think we are yet to see how government will be implementing, because this is a mere plan. Government may not even be able to collect as projected. So what will be important for us is to what extent government will be able to implement the projected financial plan that has been given today.
On his part, Malawi Local Government Association Chief Executive Officer Hadrod Zerunkandawire said they are not impressed with the level of financial devolution in the budget.
We welcome the budget, but as local authorities, we are still a very disappointed sector, in the sense that managers would like to commend the minister for presenting a posture that the government is very interested in terms of enhancing fiscal devolution. And when he was presenting the local government sector budget, in his preamble, he hinted that it's a government policy to entrench fiscal devolution. But when it came to the actual figures, the two are not corresponding, in the sense that I would give an example that the total budget for development in this country in the coming financial year is 2 trillion. But the local authorities have been allocated only 145.5 billion, representing only a 7%, which would not meet the minimum financial requirements for the local authorities to deliver essential development needs of the communities. You have also noted that the development of the budget for education sector has been pegged at 1.3 trillion, but only 26 billion is going to the local authorities education sector, meaning they are getting only 0.2% of the allocated budget. And yet, the bigger component of education in this country, in terms of the service delivery, is at the local level. We're talking of early child development. We're talking of all the primary schools in this country. So you cannot allocate 0.2% to that sector. That is not fair in terms of entrenching fiscal devolution. And I also want to plea that you have noted that the government has allocated 10 billion towards the recruitment of new recruitment. Our expectation is that the local authorities are going to get a portion of this, because currently the local authorities do not get funds for human resource management. This is the very reason why there are challenges to promote staff and recruit new staff.
Lawmakers are expected to start deliberating the budget in their respective clusters on Wednesday.
Now, the Ministry of Industry and Trade will introduce the National Single Window, a digital platform that will link all government departments, agencies with interest in the area of trade. The platform will provide access to trade information by all stakeholders in the government, private sector, and the general public, allowing processes of export permits, for example, to be completed online. Kingsley Jas caught up with Director of Trade, Charity Musonzo, to shed more light on the initiative.
So the National Single Window is an electronic platform that will allow traders who are involved in import, export, and transit trade of goods with other markets, international markets, to lodge their applications through one single entry point, which is the single window. That's why it's called the national single window.
Okay.
So instead of the traders, as currently is happening, where they go from one office to another to get licenses, permits, or certificates in order to export or import, they will now be lodging the application through one entry point, which will be an electronic format. It's an online system that will allow all the agencies that are participating in the national single window to give their approvals, and everything will be processed. At the end of that system, then a trader will be able to get his or her certificate, or a license, an export license or an import license, or a certificate that the trader would like to get. So that at the end of it all, the system will also be integrated with the payment system.
Okay.
So that when it finishes all the processes, the system will be able to produce that certificate, and then the trader will be able to collect it at the end of it all.
Okay. From what you're saying, it appears currently that's not the case. What's the experience of a trader who is trying to get certificates?
Yeah, so currently what is happening is that if, let's say, I want to export soybeans or pigeon peas or groundnuts to, let's say, Mozambique or Zambia or Egypt, I will go first of all to one agency, let's say Ministry of Agriculture. From Ministry of Agriculture, I need also, by the time I'm going to Ministry of Agriculture, it means I've gone to MRA, the Malawi Revenue Authority, to get a tax clearance certificate. I will also have gone to the Registrar General to have my business registered. I will also have gone maybe to the bank to get the statement that will certify that I have a business account. After that is when they'll be coming to this ministry, for example, to collect or to apply for an export license or an import license. So you can imagine visiting maybe 5 or 6 institutions and getting maybe each institution has got its own timelines when they want to process, when they're supposed to process a specific license or permit. So maybe in agriculture they will tell you 1 day or 2 days. They go to another institution 2-3 days. By the time the trader is getting his or her license, it may be about 14 or 15 days or even a month. And that to a business person is a lot of money and a lot of cost. Yeah, so time is money. We want to reduce the time that one would want to get the services when they want to import or export. So we're tremendously going to reduce that manual processing into an automated system, which will be online.
Okay. So, now, all that experience, taking time, spending money, somebody agentry wants to export, and they've got a market, and they want money. They would want to circumvent that process and go into illegal or smuggling, isn't it?
Exactly, that's what has been happening. Most of the traders, they say, why should we go to Ministry of Trade to get, when we can easily maneuver and go to the parallel borders where they will use Kabaza to get their goods out of this country or into this country. So we have been noticing that has been having a lot of negative impacts, both on the trader himself or herself, as well as on government. So what is happening is that most of the people feel that maybe the formal process are expensive, or they're taking too much time, and maybe the time they take for them to travel from one place to another, that alone is a lot of cost. So they have resorted to smuggling their goods, and that smuggling is bringing in goods that are not supposed to be brought in, because some goods are not tested by Malawi Bureau of Standards. So it means Malawi has been receiving some goods which have not been certified, have not been standardized for the Malawi market, and we have been consuming some of those goods. And apart from that, some traders have experienced theft or destruction of their products when they're using the parallel routes or the smuggling routes, because the people that are transporting their goods, sometimes they're crooks who can run away with their goods. And worse still, if they meet the law enforcers, the goods can be confiscated, it means they have lost all the capital.
Yeah.
So that has been the major problem. And then if someone is using a parallel route or the unchartered routes, it means they are not providing information to government. It means there will be no statistics for policy decision. It means the government revenue is lost. So all those implications have been negative on the economy of Malawi as well as to the traders.
Yeah, it appears the system is going to bring a lot of advantages, not only to the traders but to the government as well, and the economy in general, as you're speaking. And what other stakeholders, maybe apart from the traders and government, what other stakeholders would benefit from this? I'm already looking at media as myself. I'm
Yes.
looking for information on trade. Would I get some advantage with this?
Yes, you'll be getting real-time information. Whenever you need something, it can be produced quickly because everything will be transacted online, real-time, and reports will be generated from the system. So for you to get information from government agencies, it will be easier than it has been before.
Okay.
Because MRA is our data and revenue collector, and the electronic data that is going to be entering into the system, MRA will have all the information real time.
Okay.
And that will facilitate sharing of information amongst all the stakeholders.
Okay.
Even the trader, when they have lodged their application, they can trace where the application is. So if it's stuck with, say, Minister of Agriculture, someone will be questioned, why is the application not coming out at the stipulated time? So it will also bring in transparency as well as accountability of all the institutions, all the government agencies that are supporting the system, who will be connected to the system. Other than that, we're also looking at the international market, where we are sending or importing goods from, but mostly we're interested in the external markets for our exports.
Yes.
Because currently it has been difficult maybe to send maybe the licenses or the certificates for them to be certified by other markets where we are sending goods, and maybe they have doubted the manual of scanned documents and maybe they don't look authentic.
Yeah.
And some consignments have been retained because some certificates are doubted by the people who are importing our goods. So that is going to be eliminated because the system will sift through all the doubts, and because all the agencies will have one platform, it will be very difficult to cheat. So that will bring some sustainability of the markets outside, but also credibility of our country in terms of doing trade with other countries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and apart from that, it will also enhance our competitiveness on the international market, because most of our trading partners are already using the national single window system, are already connected online. So let's say the certificates of origin, we are now migrating from the manual certificate of origin to an electronic certificate of origin. So with the coming in of the system, that will also provide a seamless way of trading with other countries.
Malawi remains an agrarian economy and tobacco remains the main export crop. But due to the harsh weather condition and the global anti-smoking campaign, the leaf has in recent years been seen losing its charm. However, authorities say Malawi will continue growing tobacco till the last cigarette is produced. What are farmers doing to keep up the pace amid the challenges? Pempero Marimba interacted with some farmers in the central region and has filed this report.
For a couple of years now, Malawi's agrarian economy has been subjected to harsh weather conditions. From a year of heavy downpours to another of drought, crop production has largely been affected. Farmers are the main victims, but 49-year-old Luca Alon has dodged the pangs. Late last year, at the peak of the dry spell in central Malawi, Alon manually irrigated his 5 hectares of farmland, fetching water 2 kilometers away.
Considering that there was a delay in the onset of the rain, we thought it wise to start irrigating the tobacco. So we started irrigating the tobacco in November last year. This initiative has cost me about 3 million kwacha. Right now, I am in financial challenges to cover up other costs.
He's upbeat. He projects to yield not less than 80 bales of tobacco. The leaf is not touted as green gold for nothing. It remains Malawi's main export crop. We visited some tobacco farms and the crop looks largely promising, except some pockets of areas which have been affected by the dry spell that hit some parts of the country at the onset of this year's rain season. But the government is upbeat. Benedicto Jambo is Deputy Minister of Agriculture.
And I'm urging farmers to work hard, and we should also go for irrigation as the farm we saw in Doha. He started planting the tobacco using irrigated waters. This is a good and timing time. The time you see the lens dried, but he still had the crop. You see the difference between the crop of irrigated one and these crops that other farmers have used with the rains. So it means if we go deep into irrigation, we can plant 3 times and we can have a lot of yields in the country.
Recently, tobacco industry regulator, the Tobacco Commission, projected that Malawi will produce 160 million kilograms of tobacco this year. The estimate had been revised to just between 140 million and 150 million kilograms due to the dry spell. TC Acting Chief Executive Officer Evans Chilumba feels output would remain above last year's.
As the Commission anticipated to actually produce 160 million kgs, but with the drought, we expect there is going to be a reduced production to maybe around 140 to 150 million kgs this year. But you can see that this is even higher than what we produced last year, which was 133 million kgs. Basically because there is an increased hectarage by the growers, and also there are new entrants into the farming of tobacco this year.
As it appears a foregone conclusion, mechanized production and irrigation would save Malawi leaf from the effects of harsh weather conditions.
Now, another business news, Malawi Agricultural and Industrial Investment Corporation, MIC, has partnered with the Lilongwe Water Board to plant 500 indigenous Mibawa trees at the Malingude Dam catchment area in Lilongwe. According to Peter Chipeta, MIC's head of enterprise development, the tree planting initiative is a deliberate effort to contribute to a greater, greener Malawi. MIC primary focus on financing industries such as agriculture, manufacturing, and infrastructure development. We caught up with Chipeta in this interview.
Our coming to participate today in this tree planting exercise is meant to affirm our commitment as a development finance institution in terms of promoting sustainable environmental practices. As you might be aware that trees are important in terms of mitigating climate and environmental degradation. And as a responsible corporate citizen, we feel obliged to promote a fair environment, a good environment that fosters a healthy well-being of our stakeholders, communities, and including our staff members. Talking about stakeholders, we're looking at promoting the healthy well-being of our customers, our potential customers, existing customers, and largely our communities. Now, partnering with the Lilongwe Water Board, coming to plant these trees is one of making sure that we preserve our environment, is one of making sure that we promote the sustainability of the water reservoir that we have, which is Kamuzu Dam. I mean, this is a water. This is a source of our drinking water for the surrounding communities within the Lilongwe district. And we, as MIC, a corporate citizen, established within Lilongwe, where we operate within a certain community, would want to make sure that for sustainability of us as well as the community, we promote activities that are going to enhance that well-being of our stakeholders. So this partnership it's not only for a once-off. We're looking at long-term partnership where we will continue to monitor how the trees grow, and possibly in the near future also consider increasing the territory and in terms of actually planting more trees. So we will ensure that we work closely with the Lilongwe Water Board, and where there are challenges, we are open, our door is open, and we can be able to discuss in case of any challenges, so that by the end of the day, we are able to plant trees that are going to leave a legacy in the long run and support actually and promote a thriving community.
Well, that story also brings us to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. Thank you for watching, but always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Stay safe and bye for now.